Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, social media world? It's your boy Sincere, J Red, Flappers, Brooklyn. Y'all already know. Welcome to the page. Like and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, I appreciate you. Thank you. You could be doing anything with your time right now. You're sitting here right now, taking a little 15, 20 minutes or however long I choose to do this video, just sit here and listen to me. And time is money. That's why I always gotta appreciate you guys. There's plenty of things, technology, millions of things you could be doing right now. So many other YouTube videos you could be watching. So many things on Netflix you could be watching. So when I say I appreciate you, I'm not just talking because I got lips. I really do appreciate you. So welcome to the page. Like I said, if you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, hit that like button, subscribe. You know, this message might be for you. And if it's not, if it don't apply, let it fly. But maybe a family member, an associate, a friend, somebody out there you could probably share it to or with that might be able to relate to it. So, but I want to shout me out. Yes, me. We in Aries season still. My birthday was last week, April 4th. Shout out to me. Shout out to the Aries gang, Team Aries. I want to talk about knowing your triggers and just a little bit about, because a crazy situation came up. It was a lot of ton of events that came up the last couple of weeks. And I want to apologize. I know I'm probably like 3.5 weeks in from the last time I did a video, but like I always like to say, life is life. And you might see me on these videos. You might see me sitting down in this chair or at the park hugging a tree. You like my tree hugging shirt? So, yes, just in case you didn't know, I hug trees, you know. I love hugging trees. It's very therapeutic. Don't knock it till you try it. It's not that hard. Next time you see a tree, walk up to it, hug it, embrace it, close your eyes, and just let your mind be still. You'll be surprised how great you feel. It's really, really phenomenal. And you might think I'm bugged out, but listen, I do what makes me feel good. I don't care about the passerbyers that walk by and what they're saying in their brain, because they know better not to say it to me. And if they don't know better, unfortunately, this is one of my triggers I'm still working on. I'm going to be very vocal, probably in a very nice way, unless they say something disrespectful, because I have a very bad habit, but I got a lot better, social media world. I have a very bad habit of getting disrespectful only when I'm disrespected. But I'm still working on that. I don't want to be that way. I want to not let people, places, and things alter my peace of mind or my happiness. But just because you see me sitting here talking about self-awareness, conscious awareness, and doing better, I'm still a human being. What I will tell you though, I've gotten a lot better. I don't go from zeros to 60 as fast as I used to do. A lot of you guys and people do not know me. You only know what I show you, perception. And you have to remember that when you meet anybody on the street, social media world, people are only showing you what they want you to know. So don't always be quick to judge a book by their cover. I know the last video I said I was going to get more into my history and kind of get into the deep roots, but I'm going to save that for another time because, like I said, the chain of events that happened in the last couple of days and weeks, I want to share with you. Somebody might be able to elaborate and relate and maybe give me some feedback in the comments because I want to know. I don't know it all. I want to hear different opinions. You might shed some light on maybe how I'm thinking or was thinking. I don't know it all. I'm not a guru. I'm not a Dalai Lama. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm just a regular guy like you guys, but I just do different things with my time. And I feel like I'm pretty biased when it comes to certain things. You know what I'm saying? I can step out the box, listen to your point of view, and not let my identity or how I feel dictate what I think about what you're saying. That's just me. It might sound simple and easy, excuse me, but a lot of people really cannot do that. They think they can, but ego gets in the way, pride gets in the way, they get defensive. So this weekend I had a surprise dinner, you know, went for dinner with some friends, some high school friends, and um there was a topic that had came up in the dinner party. Mind you, I'm always gonna keep it real. Before I even went to the dinner, I was lit. If you don't know what lit means, I was nice. Um, I guess some of you guys might call it pre-gaming, but I was sipping. You know, it's my birthday weekend. You know, I was doing what people do on a birthday weekend. Don't act like you guys don't sip every now and then, right? So while we was out at the dinner, one of my friend's wives, I don't know how the subject came up, but we were basically talking about um checking, well, she called it checking your parents. I don't really want to say checking your parents because checking just sounds negative, right? Especially if you have especially if you're ego and pride based and you get on the defensive quick. Somebody says, yo, I'm checking somebody. It's not really a positive perspective, right? So I was basically trying to tell her that once you get a certain age, social media world, you should be able to have a conversation with anybody, right? If somebody's doing something wrong or if somebody's doing something not necessarily wrong, but something that's affecting you, I always like to tell people whether you're doing something intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes you might hurt somebody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people do it unintentionally. You know, they might say something and the feelings might get hurt because they're not self-aware or they're just going on autopilot. They're not doing it purposely, but the whole point of the matter is it's happening, right? So I was basically telling her that once you get a certain age, if somebody is doing something disrespectful or they're saying something or doing something and it's bothering you and affecting you, I don't care who you are. You should be able to address that in a respectful manner. You should be able to say to that person, listen, when you said this or when you do this, it makes me feel this way. But it just happened to be that we're talking about our parents. And she was basically saying, no, I don't agree with you. You shouldn't be able to do that. And I was disagreeing with her because I don't care who you are. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And sometimes it's not a right or wrong situation. It's about, listen, somebody's being disrespectful to me. I should be able to tell you in a respectful manner, especially if they're your parents, that what you're doing or what you're saying is making me feel this type of way, right? Now, she probably felt like that's wrong because when you're a child, especially if you come from a Caribbean background, like this day and age, people my age and this generation, they want to be friends with their parents. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm bugging. They want to be friends with their kids. So if you're a parent, everybody wants to be friends with their kids, like the new generation. When I came up, when adults were talking, you were not allowed to be in the room because adults are talking about adult things and you're a kid. When you get to an adult age, then you can talk about what it is you're talking about. But certain things kids should not be hearing. Kids should just be doing kid things and enjoying that life because it's not going to last that long. You're going to be adult soon, way longer than you are a kid, right or wrong? I'm just saying. You're only a kid or a child or an adolescent up until, you know, 21, you're past adolescent age, or whatever the case may be. So from 21 to the time you die, you're pretty much an adult. You know what I'm saying? So you have plenty time to do and be a do adulting stuff, if that makes sense, right? So that was basically my excuse me. I'm tired, excuse me. But you have plenty of time your whole life from 21 until the day you pass to be an adult. So as a child, enjoy that childhood. But now this generation, it's like kids are growing up fast. Like you're talking to the adults, the kid could be sitting in the corner and they're ear hustling, they're eavesdropping, and then they hear something and they're chiming in and giving their 2 cents. That would never happen when I was a kid. Adults checked you and put you in your place. This is not your conversation. Mind your business and say, excuse me, when adults are talking. But now, I guess, like I said, parents want to be friends with their kids. They don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't know. I'm not in their brain, but I do know a lot of adults my age and this generation kind of do that, and it doesn't make sense. So now back to the whole original story. She was basically saying you shouldn't be checking your parents, and I don't want to use check, but you shouldn't, you should just accept them for how they are. And if they're saying things to hurt your feelings, you should just eat that. Where I feel like, no, if you love somebody, if you care about yourself, you should be able to express yourself in a respectful manner. Because remind you, your parents got some age on you. And we all got our trauma. We don't know what our parents went through, what they went through as a kid and as a child, right? So they have probably a lot of things that are hindering them and probably habits that they've been going through and doing for 30, 40 years, depending on how old you are and how old they are. So just because you've been doing something and living a certain way and thinking a certain way for 20, 30 plus years does not make it right. But when you don't know because after a while, it's just a habit. People like to say, well, that's just me. And you're correct. That is just you because that's all you know. But the moment you implement some new information and start reading some books, starting to become, I gotta slow down. That's why I be fumbling so much. So social media world, excuse me when I be tripping up on my words because I'm so passionate. I just want to get everything out. So please excuse me when I'm stumbling and fumbling over my own words, right? So just because you've been doing something for so long doesn't make it correct. Unless you just are a self-aware person or you just learned the right way or whatever. But until you diagnose yourself, until you get some new information, because remember, you're only going off of the information you have in this present moment in time. And a lot of adults, especially when they're really stuck in their age, if they're not readers, if they're not into self-help, if they're not into a growth mindset type system, they're gonna be who they were, probably still going off of how they was thinking when they were 16, 17, 20. Who knows? It all depends if you're a reader. All depends if you're seeking certain information and if you want to grow, if you're self-critiquing yourself, if you're self-diagnosing yourself. If you're not doing that, guess what? You're going to be stuck. And it's not fair to anybody around you if you're not doing that, okay? Because you can be, I'm going to speak for my personal preference, right? My mom and my dad love them to death. Caribbean background, they're from the island of Grenada. I'm pretty sure, like me, we all had our probably traumas, not the perfect childhood, whatever the case may be. And they have certain things that probably have been hindering them. And they don't have a growth mindset. They might have a growth mindset as far as career and raising children, but as far as looking within. And when I say that, I'm only speaking for me because I know them both. I don't want to bruise no egos. I don't want to hurt no feelings. So I'm going to keep it brief. I'm not going to really get into the deep story about what I really want to say because I don't want to throw nobody under the bus. I don't want to get no texts and, oh, how you going to say this and this? But all I'm saying is when you're not diagnosing yourself, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that caused the problem. And if you don't know you have a problem, you're going to continue moving and doing what you've been doing. Now, I say all that to say this to get back to the dinner date. When she said that, I was basically trying to tell her that no, I should be able to tell them because they don't know what they're doing. So if you're doing something to hurt my feelings, I should be able to tell you, listen, mom, dad, what you're saying and what you're doing is hurt my feelings, especially if I'm not doing nothing disrespectful, if I'm not coming at you with a certain type of energy. And I'm only talking about in that aspect. Now, if you're coming and you're argumentative and you're coming at your parents very disrespectful because you're not self aware, then yes, I agree because you have no right. You're not self aware at all. You're probably in the same boat as them, probably not as bad, depending on only you would know. Everybody's situation is different. So that kind of spiraled out of control because this person, my man's wife, is let me choose my words lightly. Let me take a sip and choose my words. How much time I'm in? All right, I don't want to keep y'all too long because I know half of y'all not even gonna watch the whole video. So she, to me, was not self-aware. And when I say that is because as I'm disagreeing with her, maybe she's lit as well. I don't know. But she starts to get loud and passionate because she disagrees with me, right? And like I said, I was lit, social media world. I take full accountability. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely not self-aware. I was definitely not using my inside voice that night. You know what I'm saying? So I have a problem, right? I have a lot of problems. I'm not gonna lie, which I got past a lot. Some of them I'm still working on. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but because I don't have the best relationship with my mother, number one, this is definitely a touchy subject. That's number one. Number two, because people yelling and getting loud with me is a trigger for me because my whole childhood, because my mother couldn't control her emotions and her feelings and whatever she had stemmed up in her, all I heard was that rah, 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 rah. All I heard was the yelling and screaming and the negative talk. So that's a trigger for me. When people, anybody, male, female, I don't care who you are, when people start talking to me aggressively, especially when I'm not talking now, if I came at you aggressively, then I eat it sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because you're matching my energy, right? But when I'm just having a casual conversation with you, and because you're not self aware, or because you're going through what you're going through and you're not paying attention to yourself, when you start coming at me aggressively, I'm going to trump that and I'm going to match that. That's my problem. Sometimes it works for me, a lot of times it doesn't because I could ruin friendships, even though in my head, to me, they deserve it because I take it as disrespectful. And I told you, I think in the beginning of this message, I get there, I get very disrespectful when I feel that I'm being disrespected. That's something I'm still working on because you can ruin a lot of relationships. And I'm not sure if I ruined this relationship or not. I did call her the day after. I did text her, call her, apologize. I blamed it on the liquor. I blamed it on, my triggers and, things being a sensitive topic. And, I also apologized to her husband for it. But I can't say it would never happen again. Like I said, maybe if I wasn't a little nice, maybe if I wasn't drunk, but I was a little past nice. So I wasn't using my inside voice. Maybe if I wasn't, I probably would have just said, okay, I hear you. We could agree to disagree. And I probably would have excuse myself from the conversation. But because I wasn't, I didn't use my inside voice, social media world. I trumped her energy and I got very disrespectful, not as far as cursing her out, but just telling her how I really felt on the inside. Like, what you're saying is stupid. You're not making no sense. And that's how I really felt. That you're not making no sense. Because all I was saying is, once you get to a certain age, as long as you're talking to your parents respectfully and telling them what they're saying and what they're doing is how they're making you feel, nothing is wrong with that. Whether they get it or not, that's a whole nother conversation and a whole nother video. But all I was basically saying, that we're not children anymore. Once you get a certain age, you should be able to talk to your parents like adults, because we're all adults now. You know what I'm saying? We're all on the same level as far as our minds. When you're a kid, adults is on this level, kids is down here. Once we're adults, we might not be here together. Depends on your self-awareness. Depends on if you're reading. Depends on if you're a leader. But it's not that much of a difference. Yes, they have an age gap because as they get older, you get older. But you should still be able to voice opinion to anyone, because you have to love yourself and treat, excuse me. You have to love yourself and teach people how to treat you sometimes. Doesn't matter who you are. You got to set boundaries, especially if you have triggers like me. I do have childhood trauma. I'm constantly working on myself. I'm getting a lot better, but certain things are still there and I will continue to get better. So, but like I said, because of the influence of the alcohol, I didn't use my inside voice and I went in on her. Not only did I tell her what she was saying was stupid and disrespectful, no, stupid and she's not making no sense. I happen to know that she's a Gemini. This is no disrespect to the Geminis out there. Love you guys. When you guys are in a good mood, you guys are the greatest people to be around. But I'm always going to keep it real. I'm always going to keep it unbiased. Excuse me. I'm always going to be unbiased and keep it, say what it is, not how I feel. And if I'm telling you how I feel, I'm telling you from my experience and the patterns in my life. So in my life and my experiences, this time might be all Geminis. I can only speak for my experience and what I've witnessed in my life. Geminis are very wishy-washy people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, look at Kanye West, for example. Point taken. They're not consistent on their perspectives. You know what I'm saying? I love Tupac. Look at Tupac Shakur, another Gemini. One song, he's uplifting the women. Brenda had a baby. Next song, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. So it's like, which one are we? Geminis have a habit of, and even if you Google them, don't even take my word. Google Geminis. Look at their sign. Look at their, what's that word? Their symbol. It's a two-face. It's like they got two personalities. This is why I'm not really close with Geminis. Not because they're not good people. It's only because of my personality, which I already told you, I'm an Aries. We like consistency. Shit kind of makes sense. To us, Geminis is like the weather or a light switch, off and on, off and on. I can't do with off and on unless you're giving me a reason, and the reason has to make sense. You know what I'm saying? But so I went in on Geminis because she was a Gemini, not to her face, but because we was at the table, I let my voice, like I said, I was lit. And when I feel disrespected, I get very disrespectful. So I didn't really give a ish. You know what I'm saying? I'm just airing it out. It don't really matter. But at the same time, I'm still hurting somebody who I care about genuinely's feelings, and that's not right. So I'm going to always take accountability for that. I should have used my inside voice and kept it to myself. But the fact of the matter is, that's just how I feel. Whether I use my inside voice or not, that's just how I feel. She just happened to be a Gemini, and she did what Geminis do. And not only did she do what Geminis do, she raised her voice at me and got very loud and aggressive, where the whole restaurant was kind of watching us. And I'm like, the topic is not even that serious. But because she felt passionate about it, she felt the need to, maybe it was a touchy subject for her. Maybe it was a trigger for her. You know what I'm saying? So she got touchy and she got loud and I got louder. I got disrespectful. So I say all that to say this, you got to master yourself. You got to pay attention to you, self-diagnose yourself, look at your triggers, stop paying attention to the world, social media world. Sit down, meditate sometime, be still, get a self-help book, read, get to know you. Because you can't control people, you can't change people, but what you can do, what you can control is you. So start with that. Forget everybody. You are in the driver's seat of you. You're going to be with you until the day that you leave this earth. So self-diagnose yourself, okay? Know what triggers you, so when these things or people or whomever come around that triggers you, you will know how to deal with it unless you're under the influence like I was. So I apologize to you. You know who you are. I'm not going to say no names, but I apologize genuinely because, at the end of the day, you came out for my birthday. You showed me love. And even though you was disrespectful, even though you were loud, and you wouldn't know that's a trigger, that's just you being you. So you might say, I was disrespectful. How was I disrespectful? I was just passionate and loud. That's a trigger for me. You know what I'm saying? That was two triggers for me. Being loud and, the whole parenting situation because of the relationship I have with my mother. So I apologize once again. Always take accountability, but you have to be self-aware to take accountability. Because when you don't take accountability, you will always make the same mistake over and over and over again. So you know who you are, and I apologize to you again on a bigger platform so you know it wasn't that serious. And what I said about Geminis in this video, I love you guys. It's no disrespect to you. I'm just telling you my experience, my temperament with them. I'm not saying every single Gemini is like that, but I'm just saying. Sincere J Red, Flatbush, Brooklyn. Y'all already know. Yo.